Doodler Doodling by Rita Golden Gelman, illustrated by Paul O. Zielinski, published by Greenwillow Books, an imprint of HarperCollins Publisher. Teachers teaching. Flyers flying. Flyers teaching. Teachers flying. Teachers teaching flying flyers. Flyers flying teachers. Oh my goodness, what? Painters painting. Climbers climbing. Climbers painting. Painters climbing. Painters painting climbing climbers. Climbers climbing painters. Whee! Flyers flying, teachers teaching, painters painting climbers. Throwers throwing. Huggers hugging. Huggers throwing. Throwers hugging. Huggers hugging, throwing throwers. Throwers throwing huggers. No! Bakers baking. Mowers mowing. Mowers baking. Bakers mowing. Bakers baking, mowing mowers. Mowers mowing bakers. Stop! Painters hugging. Bakers climbing. Throwers painting. Huggers mowing. Flyers throwing. Climbers flying. Mowers baking. Teachers teaching. Wow. So let's talk a little bit about doodling. So did you know that doodling is actually good for you? It kind of helps you to focus, makes it easier to listen. So when you're listening to a teacher or you're in a meeting or somebody's just talking to you, it helps your brain remain active. It can also help you relieve stress and it can improve your productivity. So what we're going to do first is we're going to find a piece of paper. It can be any kind of paper. On this one, I just used an old envelope from some mail. And in this one, this is going to be just a piece of paper, the back of a piece of paper that was a letter that got sent to me that normally would go in the trash. So let's start doodling. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to get some sort of a black marker or a black pen. So these are just several that I've got at my house. There's a Crayola marker, a fancy pen, a Sharpie, whatever works for you. I'm going to use the Sharpie because it's got a nice big tip. And all I want you to do is I want you to start scribbling. And scribbling is not fast, it's kind of slow. So we're going to just make loose lines and we're going to use our whole arm until we fill up the page. Let it overlap. And when you feel like you have filled up your paper, maybe let it go off the side. So now what you want to do, this first option is just to color by filling in the different spaces. Every time a line crosses a line, it creates a boundary and we call this a space. Okay, and a space is one of the elements of art. It's like baking a cake and having the ingredients to good art. And those elements are line, shape, color, value, texture, and space and form. And we have created lines, and now we're going to use color to fill in the spaces. And here's a finished example of doing that. And the reason that this stayed blank is because there's no line that actually crossed it. I could color this whole side in, but I decided I would leave it just the plain envelope. It'd be a really big area to have to color in. Same thing over here. When you begin coloring these spaces in, start with one marker and color several spaces at one time. It goes a whole lot faster. The other thing that I would recommend when you are coloring it with markers is sort of treat it like a paintbrush, and you're going to be pulling. When you color and you go back and forth like this, you can see how dry that looks. But look how if I just outline by pulling the marker, sort of painting with it, see how much better that works and how much darker it is. So look, just by pulling instead of coloring like I showed you, it kind of fixes that. So I'm going to add a few more colors, and then the next video is going to show you adding several colors to get finished. In the next kind of doodle, it's almost like looking into the clouds when you have a nice bright sunny day with clouds and you see pictures in the clouds. So it's the same type of thing. So when I did this doodle, it'd be harder to see, take that away. When I did this doodle, it sort of looked like an elephant. I saw a trunk up here, and I sort of saw his face and these legs. Don't see a tail so much, but I found an ear, and then it sort of looked like a tree in the background, and then I just found the doodle down at the bottom and sort of made it look like it was in the grass. So what you want to do is you want to look at this multiple ways and turn it around and around until you actually see something, and then see what you can make out of it.